Hello, welcome back to Project Jackie, and this will be the first one that we're watching while Asian Cinema Season 2 is actually happening. So we've been watching these films and doing the videos for like months and months and months, even back when we lived in Weybridge. And we're going to get back to a couple of his films, starting with this one right here, which is Operation Condor, Armour of God 2, which I believe was released in America as Operation Condor, and then they released Armour of God 1 as Operation Condor 2 Armour of God. Wrap your head around that one. So this was the first film. I think this character's name was Asian Hawk. So that was this film. Do you remember anything about this film?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. So you got like a vague...
It's the Armour of God, and it was the lady with the guy, the rich guy, was collecting it, and then it said, we'll get it. But they wanted it, and so they went to that cave.
Yeah,
and
they jumped off a cliff onto a highway.
She was like a undercover hooker, and there was a fight with all the women that were men, and and then he jumped off the cliff onto the hot air balloon.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Okay.
That's the whole movie.
Yeah, so I remember enjoying this one. It was pretty good. The action scenes were great, but some of the story was a little bit boring at times. So I'm looking forward to this one. I've heard that it's pretty good. At least the action scenes are pretty spectacular. I think there's some like World War II Nazi gold or something like that in the desert. So we're going to check this out. Unfortunately, it is English dubbed.
No.
And yeah, so I can only hope that at least he does his own voice. I'm not even sure on that though.
Well, he usually does.
This is from 1991, I believe, about 5 years after the first one. So yeah, we're going to check it out, see what we think. And I also think this is an upscale, so not even a true Blu-ray. But hopefully we enjoyed the film. Alright, done with Operation Condor. Armour of God 2, not to be confused with Operation Condor 1.
Or any Armour of God, for that sake.
Yeah, did you hear what I was saying with all the title confusion? I guess it doesn't matter, and I've already talked about it in the video, so it would be a complete waste to reiterate. So it turns out this did have the Chinese, Cantonese soundtrack. The subtitles were dog shit though, like really bad. Like it just wasn't matching so much, and like the speed of the subtitles were like getting ahead or behind of things that were getting spoken. The grammar was terrible. But luckily it's a story that's fairly simple. You kind of get where they're going with it and stuff. And it is about gold buried in the desert, in the Sahara Desert, I think. From World War II, it's like Nazi gold. And so Jackie's been tasked with going to find it. And it was the old man from the first Armour of God. I think, I forget the details, but he's a returning character. And he sends Jackie off with two women. One is the granddaughter of a German, I guess, soldier who was there at the base, the military base where all the gold is being kept. Another woman is, I'm not sure who she was really, just an expert of the deserts. She was kind of, I guess that was why she was there. And then they pick up a woman along the way as well. So there's like three women and Jackie going on an adventure for this gold. And then there's a lot of bad guys after it as well. You can see where it's going. It feels, again, much like the first Armour of God, like Jackie Chan's version of Indiana Jones. The film opens with like a little kind of 5-10 minute action kind of standalone story like you see in the first Indiana Jones and then like all the James Bond movies as well. What did you think? Because I know you're quite tired now, so maybe you want to kind of...
I don't have much to say.
You don't have much to say, really?
No. It was fine. It was kind of boring sometimes.
Okay.
It was dragging a bit. It was just like... I didn't feel like the story itself was strong enough.
I thought it was much better than the first one, story-wise. It was...
Well, yeah, but I don't know what it was about the first one. Maybe it was just more entertaining. Parts of it was funny. His fighting scenes, as usual, are great anyway.
Yeah.
But... I don't know, I felt the two main guys that were after them most of the time, I just found them too silly.
They're very cartoony.
Yeah.
Over the top.
Yeah, it was over the top.
But that matched the tone of the film for me. It was a very light-hearted film in that sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
They were kind of fun little side villains to me.
Yeah, that's fine. it's definitely not one of his best.
I would disagree. Actually,
I've seen worse.
Oh sure.
It's just it was too long for me.
Too long.
Yeah.
It's fairly short. It's like an hour and 45.
Could have been hour 20.
Could have been an hour 20.
That would have been better.
Yeah, I don't know. I love this one actually. The action scenes were great. Those big set pieces. I had heard about the wind tunnel sequence in this film, which was awesome. I mean, that was fun, right? I mean, you can't
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I mean, it's really creative stuff. A big chase scene near the beginning on a motorbike, and I could tell a lot of that wasn't Jackie Chan actually, which is fairly unusual for one of his films, but it was a really exciting chase sequence, and I couldn't help but think of the Angry Video Game Nerd movie where he's like, where the fuck are all these boxes coming from? Because they go into this like banana box warehouse and just demolish all of them, and a guy gets like thrown onto the back of his neck, which was absolutely ridiculous. Like I had to go back and watch it again because it was like unbelievable. That bump was nuts. But I really enjoyed the story. I thought that the three women were fairly entertaining. You know, I mean, it's not like a...
I found them annoying.
You found them annoying?
It was too much whining and stuff like that. It was just... they were too cartoony for me too.
That's interesting.
Well,
I understand it.
I thought it was fun. The towel thing was funny.
Yeah.
In the hotel room, that was funny. But after that, I just like, yeah. I was tired as well though, so that didn't help anything.
So maybe you weren't in the mood for a film like this as well, maybe? Is that part of it? Or...
No.
No? Okay.
No, I'm looking at it objectively as well.
Yeah.
And when I'm thinking back at it, it's like, it wasn't bad or anything.
Sure.
It just wasn't one, I felt like it was repetitive with some things, and the wind thing was creative, the towel thing was funny. It's just some things that was just too much, like the machine gun thing. Like, that was funny the first 5 seconds, but they kept going for 30.
That's what made it funny, I don't know.
No, it just kept going for too long, and I was just like, okay, it's over now. How many bullets do you have in a machine gun? It wasn't that long, that bullet thing.
No, it was fairly, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just they milked it a bit too much here and there, and the girls annoyed me.
Okay.
They look tough in that shot, but they're not really, are they?
I don't think that's even them, to be honest.
No.
I, on the other hand, loved that joke with the machine gun. I just thought it was really funny. I liked that it was milked, and
it was funny the first 5 10 seconds. Yeah.
For me, it was funny because of how long it dragged out. But I love that whole scene in that building, like I don't even call it like a hotel. That I love the feel of that whole sequence, and just the just the comedy. I like the comedy of it. I actually really understand why you're a bit on this film if you found the women annoying, because they're such a big part of it.
Yeah.
And they're really...
And the 2 guys too.
Yeah, I suppose. I will say I think the main villain could have been brought in earlier. Like, he just doesn't... He comes in like halfway through the film, and he's just a bit... I don't know... That's just a weird character. I mean, you're not coming to these films for like...
the wheelchair guy was the villain.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, but I mean, and then he wasn't, so
well, I don't know.
That was confusing.
It wasn't confusing, it just, it was there, I guess. But I liked the adventure of it, and or obviously the action scenes, but I did like the female characters as well. I don't know, it was just fun. You know, the woman in Legend of Drunken Master, Drunken Master 2.
The main Chinese one was funny.
Okay.
But I didn't like the German one, and it was the German one that was most annoying, I guess. It's just too much.
Yeah.
I have no idea, like, because it's not even her fault, because it's not even her voice.
Sure, yeah.
See, so it's just whoever Chinese woman who was doing the voiceover was just too whiny for me.
Ah, okay.
They were all whiny, but I just found the personality of the main Chinese expert woman, she was funnier, and seeing the bloopers too, like, she's got kind of like that humor, like his aunt and
right, I was gonna say that.
She reminded me of her, so I liked her in a way. And then the seller woman, she was just whatever. It's the blonde one who.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, his aunt from Drunken Master 2. that's like how you really do a character like that well, with the wacky humor. Obviously, they don't get anywhere close to doing it as well as her. But I did enjoy them, and I liked. I'm sure in the first film he does that joke with the flipping the gum into his mouth. Because I feel like I've seen it before. And at the beginning of the movie, he does it and he messes it up, and I like that. Like I like how, you know, and then it calls back to it later on, and like you said, the towel.
He did something else with it too. He used something else.
His glasses or something. His goggles, and he flicked them into his mouth. Anyway, like you said, the towel joke, I liked that, and then how it was called back to later on.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. I like some of the
because that was an inside joke or inside thing that
exactly.
we knew what was, and then it didn't work, so that made it more funny.
Yeah. But yeah, so I really, really enjoyed this a lot more than the first one, actually. I don't know. So
I'm sure I did too. Because the first one wasn't that memorable.
Yeah.
That was even more silly, I guess. But what was it about the first one? Was that the bad guys were smarter?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Because they went in like undercover, but they still knew it was them. They used it against them. A different one.
I can't remember the specific.
I'm mixing 2 or 3 other.
Maybe, yeah. There's a lot of similar territory in these movies, so.
Because usually the bad guys in these movies are so stupid.
Yeah.
But in one of those back, like they knew what was going on and so on, and I like that.
One of the 2 sidekick bad guys, he reminded me of Cesaro, so that was kind of funny. But
I felt like it was dumb.
and even like the whole water joke where he's hugging the women and he's got like the tube coming out and it looks like they're kind of fondling each other, and that's the whole joke and stuff, and then she wraps his legs around. Like, it's such a ridiculous joke that I don't find it funny as a joke, but just the way that they fully commit to it I found funny. It's one of those weird things where it's like, as a concept this isn't funny, but the way they're just leaning into it all the way is kind of funny. So I just had a really good time with this one. So yeah. Anyway, any closing thoughts? No? Okay.
I just want to go to bed.
You just want to go to bed. So Operation Condor, Armour of God 2. There is a third one, Chinese Zodiac, and the story, not behind the film, but there is a really cool true life story to that movie that I think is awesome. So for that alone I want to cover it, but it'll be intriguing because it's a more recent Jackie Chan film as well. But so I really like this one. And we're going to leave it there.
The opening thing, that was funny.
Which part of the opening?
With the Indian tribe people and so on.
When he's like stealing the jewels.
Yeah, and they was like, yeah, go on. And he drinks the water and
holy water.
That's not... Mm-mm.
And then the guy turns up and he's like, I've been here for so long, and you can, you know. Like,
yeah, I don't know, that kind of set like the mood of the movie, and then nothing else kind of like kept up with that kind of humor in a way.
I don't know.
Not to that extent, because it was kind of like Ace Ventura funny. And then the rest was okay funny.
Okay.
It reminded me of Ace Ventura. It was just like, this okay. So that's the way it's gonna be. And then
I guess I can see that. And
it set my expectations, and then the whole thing was very Ace Ventura / Pirates of the Caribbean kind of humor in the beginning. And then it just turned into normal 80s.
And the perils of filming with this camera is that it occasionally will just stop recording. And I don't have a flip screen to see that has happened. So it cut off where I was just saying that it goes without saying. And we've already mentioned that his action, his fighting scenes are just next level, unmatched, unbeatable, which Connie was agreeing with very fervently, but she's gone to bed now. The fight scenes of this are just incredible. The hand-to-hand combat, just the little flourishes he throws in there are just unbelievable. And you see in the outtakes like him trying to kind of nail those really, expert level choreography, moments. And he'll go again and again and again and again until he gets it just right. And then his humor and wackiness that comes from him is so great, because it just adds something to the fight scenes where he's just not this badass guy who's amazing at fighting. It would be so easy for someone as talented as him to lean into that and just be the cool kick-ass kind of hero. But he has those moments where he gets beaten up a little bit, where he gets embarrassed a little bit, and he always leans into that, and he knows how to pitch it pretty much perfectly every single time when he's doing those little comedic beats. And, you know, in the wind tunnel sequence at the end, he does like a flying Superman punch. I mean, he's not really taking it too seriously, and you can see that in his face. You can see he's having a blast. He's having fun making these films, and that makes me have fun watching them. For the most part, you know, it doesn't seem like he's taking it all that seriously, because these films aren't really meant to be dramas. You know, they're entertainment. They're pure entertainment. And, you know, maybe now and then he'll have like a serious dramatic moment, and obviously in later films he would kind of go into more of that stuff. But for these kind of movies, you know, he's just having fun, or at least trying to have fun, and kind of putting his body on the line. There's a really nasty fall in one of the outtakes where he falls off this chain down this kind of dirt pit, and it's just like, he gets really hurt, you know. So he puts his body on the line, and he's just awesome. And at this point, pure repeating myself probably in all of these videos, but the more I see, the more I'm just in awe of Jackie Chan, and I love this one. So actually, you know what, I have been re-flicking through the film to film some clips to kind of put in throughout the video. I love this film. I actually really love this film, and given that Connie was a little meh about it, I started feeling like, oh, maybe it wasn't that good. Maybe I didn't enjoy it that much. And then I didn't want to also seem like I was just disagreeing with her on everything, which it can be kind of weird, I guess, when you're when you're with someone and you're reviewing a movie and you have very different opinions. And I don't think it's very different, but I think I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than Connie did. And just flicking through the movie again, I'm just reminded of all the little things I loved about it. From the opening scene when Jackie flies off on a paraglider, which made me think of my dad and all those years that he spent paragliding, and I'd go with him up into the mountains in Wales and stuff, even in France in the Alps. And so that was kind of nice, and some of the scenery shots was really cool in the beginning. This film felt like it had scope to it in terms of the locations and stuff. And there's just so many great little humorous moments. I loved this film. I loved the feel of it, the vibe of it. Maybe just the villains and some of the plotting of the bad guys was a little and stock, but the adventure of it, the I don't know, the comedy of it, there's so many great little moments in all the fight scenes, and even just the typical kind of Jackie and women sequences and scenes in his films, where there's usually like lots of miscommunication going on and stuff, and hilarity, I think, ensues. But that I could talk about a lot more, but I just wanted to throw in a little bit more, I guess. And the main one actually was, there's an incredible sequence near the end in the military base when Jackie is fighting a bunch of guys on these why did I use that word? I don't even know what you call it, but they're going up and down, elevating, and I don't know, they're going like this basically. And it's just nuts. Like there's fight choreography where they're fighting, they're punching, they're jumping onto like moving platforms, and it's just like nuts. And then there's this shot where Jackie's head gets hung off the edge of one of them. And I mean, just look at this. I mean, it's nuts. His face is so close to getting like just sliced off. Like it's an unbelievable stunt, you know, and risk. Just crazy. Like he literally is inches there from like his head getting cut off. You know, I was like, oh my god, when I saw it. And I have seen the clip before, but in the context of the film, I was like, holy shit. And Connie said, like, why would he do that? And I said, to make us feel like that. You know, like there's no way of getting someone to feel like that unless you do something like that in a film for real. And it's dangerous, it's risky, it's certainly not recommended for anyone, but he'll go to that extra level to give you that feeling in your gut and your chest when you're watching an action movie. So I just want to throw in a bit more praise, I guess. I really, lots of little funny bits I just found really funny, and so yeah, this actually might be one of my favourite Jackie Chan films, I think. Maybe not as accomplished as some of his other classics, like the Police Story films and the Project A movies, which I think are probably still like the standard bearer for like what a true Jackie Chan action epic can be. But I don't know, this one, there's something about this one that I really, really loved. And yeah, so I'll cut this back into the end of my thoughts, which I think is just me saying thank you for watching anyway, which is a bit redundant, but we'll cut to that now and round off this very rambly and all over the place video. That's it for now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you. 'Cause